Hi, I'm Ezra, 36, and last week I became the villain in a family group chat because I defended my 9-year-old son from being humiliated at his own birthday party. Let me tell you how I went from party host to family pariah in under 6 hours. It was supposed to be simple. A birthday party at the arcade. Pizza, games, cake, presents. The kind of fun that lives in childhood memory banks forever. My husband Billy had planned it down to the last gear-shaped sprinkle on the robot cake. Caleb, our son, had been counting down for weeks. He even made a guest list with color-coded stickers. The guest of honor? Apparently my nephew Brayden. Or at least that's what my sister Nicole decided. Nicole, who had never paid back a single loan I gave her. Nicole, who thinks sarcasm counts as parenting. Nicole, whose 12-year-old son Brayden is the walking embodiment of smug. They showed up 40 minutes late. Brayden barely said hi. Nicole launched straight into a monologue about his coding competition, rolling right over Caleb's quiet excitement about the robotics kit we got him. And then it happened. Caleb opened our gift, beamed like he just found treasure, and Brayden sneered. "That's a beginner kit. I built that when I was 8. It's for babies." Nicole laughed. Actually laughed. "Honey, don't be mean," she said with the fakest motherly tone I've ever heard. "Not everyone can be gifted like you." She looked at my son. "It's okay, sweetie. You're trying your best. Even if you're behind." My son. My sweet, nerdy, gentle son. He looked like he'd been slapped. And when Nicole added, "I mean, this party's kind of sad. Pizza and arcade games? Brayden's having his party at that new adventure park." That was it. Billy stood up and said, "Nicole, shut your mouth." Nicole stood too, called Caleb a nightmare, grabbed Billy's wrist like she wanted a fight. And I finally lost it. I got between them and said the words I should have said 5 years and 17 loans ago. "Get out." Nicole froze. "You're choosing her over your family?" "Billy is my family. Caleb is my family. You're a drain with a debt total of $68,400. Mom and Dad sided with her. Of course they did. Mom even cried. "Ezra, how could you?" I told them they could leave too. And they did. But I wasn't done. That night, after Caleb was asleep, I pulled out the loan documents. All of them. Signed. Notarized. Over 5 years of excuses and broken promises. Billy looked at me and said, "So what now?" I picked up my phone. "I'm calling Spencer." Spencer's my attorney buddy. And this time, I wasn't asking for advice. I was going to war. Spencer didn't even hesitate. "You want to play hardball?" he said. "We've got the documents. Promissory notes, payment schedules, text confirmations. That's more than most civil suits ever get." By Monday, demand letters were drafted. Official. Certified. Signed. Stamped. Every loan laid out in detail with the total amount due, $68,400, plus interest. Nicole had 30 days to start a real payment plan, or face legal action. The letters went out that afternoon. Nicole's arrived Wednesday. My parents on Thursday. Friday night, the calls began. Mom first. "How dare you threaten your sister with legal action over money? What's wrong with you? She borrowed it. She signed for it. She needs to pay it back. She doesn't have it. Then she shouldn't have taken it." Cue the sobbing. The dramatics. Dad took his usual route, guilt. "You're destroying the family." "No," I said. Nicole did that when she humiliated my son. I'm just finally saying no. Nicole didn't call. She texted. Paragraphs. Rambling accusations. Betrayal, heartbreak, how I was ruining Brayden's future. How she'd never ask for anything again. I didn't respond. Then she showed up. Saturday morning. Unannounced. Pounded on our door like a repo agent. Billy opened it, saw who it was, and called for me. Nicole stood there, makeup free, hair wild, wearing rage-like armor. "Where's Billy?" she barked. "I know she's behind this." Billy stepped into view. "I'm right here. You poisoned him against me. He was fine before he married you. He was being used before he married me. There's a difference." Nicole lunged forward. I stepped between them. "Leave. Now." "I'm not leaving." I'm your sister, and you're destroying me over money. You destroyed yourself. When were you planning to pay me back? No answer. You've got 25 days. She tried one last play. I'll tell everyone what you're doing. Go ahead, I said. I've got documentation. You've got excuses. She glared at Billy. This is all your fault. And yet I sleep great, Billy said. Nicole stormed out. Slammed the door hard enough to rattle the porch light. And then came the flood. Cousins. Uncles. My aunt in Oregon who hasn't visited in 6 years. All reaching out. You're being cruel. She made mistakes, but she's trying. Family forgives. Not one person asked what Caleb went through. Not one asked why Nicole had taken 17 loans and paid back almost nothing. Not one asked how we were doing. They just wanted me to shut up and go back to being the family ATM, Spencer called it. The beginning of the blowback. I called it long overdue. The first court date hit harder than I expected. Not because I was nervous, Spencer had prepped me to the bone, but because I walked into that courtroom and saw Nicole sitting there with Mom like they were co-defendants in a Lifetime movie. She wore black. Like someone died. Probably her pride. This first case was the transmission loan, $4,500. A slam dunk. I had the promissory note. The bank transfer receipt. The text message from Nicole literally saying, "Thanks again. I'll pay $200 per month starting July." She made 3 payments. Then radio silence. In court, she tried to play the family loan card. Told the judge it was just help between siblings. The judge raised an eyebrow. You signed a loan agreement with a repayment schedule. I didn't know what I was signing, she said. Spencer handed over a second note. Same handwriting. Same terms. Dated a year later. She signed this one too. The judge didn't even blink. Judgment for the plaintiff. $4,500 plus interest. 30 days to pay or wage garnishment begins. Nicole burst into tears. Mom hissed something at Spencer on the way out. He laughed. Outside the courthouse, I felt this weird surge of peace. Like I'd just pulled a thorn that had been jammed in my ribcage for 5 years. Spencer clapped me on the back. 1 down. 16 to go. We walked to the parking lot. That's when Dad showed up. He stood between me and my car like some 1960s mafia warning. Drop the lawsuits, he said. No. We'll pay them. Just stop this. You had money this whole time? His eyes shifted. We were saving for retirement. And you wanted me to drain my savings instead? He didn't answer. Nicole can pay what she owes. Or you can pay it for her. Either way, I'm getting it back. He turned and walked away like he didn't know what else to say. For the first time in my life, I watched my father walk away from a problem he created. And I didn't chase him. 2 weeks later, it was time for court date number 2, the HVAC loan. $8,200. Same playbook. More receipts. More tears. More judgment in my favor. But that's not even the part that changed everything. That came the following week, when Spencer said, "You need to see this." He had his laptop open. "Your sister's been posting in a private Facebook group. Single Moms. Support Forum. Been doing it for years." He clicked. Screenshots. Dozens of them. "My brother keeps asking me for loans. I'm barely making it. I've given him over $30,000. He never pays me back. His wife controls the money. I can't say no or he cuts me off. Now he's suing me for fraud. I think his wife forged the documents. I never borrowed from him." My jaw locked. She'd been painting me as the villain for years, in advance, knowing this day would come. "Spencer," I said, trying to breathe. "Can we use this?" He didn't even blink. "Not just use it. We build our entire next case around it." He added defamation, fraud, malicious deception. My sister wasn't just a deadbeat. She was a liar with a paper trail. We filed the amended complaint the next morning. Nicole was served again, this time at her job. This was no longer just about money. This was going to be scorched earth. The call came at 11:47 p.m., the night Nicole got served at work. Unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. A minute later, a second call. Then a third. By the 4th, I answered. Nicole's voice was barely holding together. Ezra. Please. You don't have to do this. I already did. I'm begging you. I could lose my job. You should have thought of that before lying about me in a public forum for 2 years. Silence. Then, in a voice small enough to miss if you weren't listening. I'm sorry. It wasn't sincere. It was tactical. Survival mode sorry. The kind you say when you're backed into a legal corner, and hoping the judge hasn't noticed you're hiding a bloody knife. I'm willing to make payments, she added. $500 a month. Just drop the fraud charge. $500 a month wouldn't cover the interest. It's all I can do. Then you should have borrowed less. Click. She texted after that. Paragraphs again. But the tone had changed, panic replacing anger. She claimed she never meant for it to get this far. Claimed Braden was struggling in school because of my lawsuits. Claimed she was in crisis. The word crisis was doing a lot of heavy lifting. The next day, she went nuclear. She posted on every platform she had. Facebook, Instagram, even Twitter, which she hadn't used since 2016. The story? Her version. My brother is suing me for money I loaned him. He and his wife are trying to destroy my life because I spoke out about their toxic marriage. I helped them. Now they're ruining me. It spread fast. Mutual friends shared it. Old co-workers. Even Billy's cousin DM'd me, asking if we were okay. The comment sections were a bonfire of sympathy. She's always been so generous. Family should never sue family. He probably forged the documents. Spencer saw it too. Let her talk, he said. The more she posts, the more rope she gives us. But it still stung. Because no one cared that she humiliated a 9-year-old at his own birthday party. No one cared that she'd taken over $64,000 from us while bragging about Disneyland trips and birthday bashes at indoor adventure parks. No one cared that she grabbed Billy's wrist in a fit of jealousy and told our son he was average. They just wanted a villain. And I was convenient. Billy found me at my laptop that night. I had all the screenshots open. My jaw was clenched so tight it hurt. Hey, she said, putting a hand on my shoulder. Let them think what they want. We have the truth. The paper. The receipts. The law. I stared at her. She's calling me an abuser, Billy. She's saying I faked her signature. Then let's prove we didn't. The next morning, Spencer filed the defamation suit officially. It wasn't just part of the fraud case anymore. It was its own lawsuit. Nicole was served again. That afternoon, I got a text from Mom. You've gone too far. She's your sister. This will ruin her. She might lose custody. She might lose everything. I didn't respond. Because here's the thing. I didn't ruin her. She did that the second she turned Caleb's birthday into a public lesson in cruelty. She did that the second she took thousands from us, and then called us parasites behind our backs. And now? Now she was about to face a judge. And all the sob stories in the world wouldn't change the evidence binder in my hand. The courthouse was packed that day. Not with spectators. This wasn't a TV trial, but with the thick, heavy air of something real about to go down. I showed up in a dark suit. Billy beside me, dressed like she was ready to testify in a Senate hearing. Spencer had 2 file boxes and the look of a man who enjoys watching people choke on their lies. Nicole? She came with a lawyer. A young one. Looked like he just graduated last month and still got nervous ordering coffee. Mom and Dad were there too. Sat behind Nicole like backup singers with matching scowls. Mom clutched a tissue she didn't need. Dad's arms were crossed so tight he looked shrink-wrapped. The judge, a no-nonsense woman in her 60s, adjusted her glasses and got right to it. Let's begin with the amended complaint. Plaintiff alleges fraud, defamation, and malicious misrepresentation of character. Nicole's lawyer stood. Your Honor, my client was merely venting in a private support group. The posts were emotional in nature, not factual allegations. The judge raised an eyebrow. Your client stated, and I quote, I've loaned my brother over $30,000 and he's never paid me back. She flipped a page. In reality, the brother loaned her over $60,000 and has documentation. Nicole's lawyer fumbled. It was hyperbole. She was under stress. Spencer stood. We have 17 signed promissory notes, bank transfer receipts, text confirmations, and digital timestamps matching the alleged loans. We also have the original posts she made, which are clearly defamatory and intentionally misleading. The judge waved for him to approach. Spencer handed over the file. She flipped through it for a solid 5 minutes while the room stayed silent except for the occasional squeak of a chair or a cough from Dad. Finally, the judge looked up. To the defendant, do you deny making these statements? Nicole hesitated. They were taken out of context. Context doesn't change facts, the judge snapped. You told a public group that your brother owed you tens of thousands of dollars. You repeated that claim across multiple posts. And now you claim he forged documents to support loans he fabricated? Nicole looked at the floor. I was upset. I didn't mean. Intent does not negate impact. You damaged his reputation. You attempted to portray him and his spouse as manipulative financial abusers. And when asked for repayment of documented debts, you doubled down by suggesting fraud. Nicole started crying. The judge wasn't moved. Judgment for the plaintiff. On all counts. Gasps behind me. I didn't turn around. The judge kept going like a wrecking ball in pearls. You are hereby ordered to pay $68,400 in principal, plus $11,800 in interest and fees. You are also to pay $15,000 in damages for defamation and issue a written, public retraction on all platforms where your claims were made. Nicole sobbed harder. You have 90 days to pay in full, or the court will authorize wage garnishment, tax interception, and asset seizure. If no retraction is posted within 7 days, you will be held in contempt. Bang. Gavel. Done. Billy squeezed my hand so hard I thought she'd crack bone. We walked out. Past Nicole, slumped in her chair. Past Mom, who hissed, "You broke her." Past Dad, who didn't even look at me. Spencer leaned in and said, "You just body slammed an entire generational pattern." I exhaled. I know. That night, we didn't celebrate. We just exhaled. Billy made popcorn. Caleb built a tower out of the leftover robotics kit box. I sat on the couch and watched them both and thought, this is why. 2 days later, Nicole posted the retraction. It was brutal. Not because of what she wrote, court-mandated apologies always read like a hostage note, but because of what it caused. Her friends turned on her. Wait, you lied? You said he stole from you. Unbelievable. I defended you. Within a week, she was fired from her job. Not for the lawsuit, but for ethics violations, lying about financial matters while working in insurance. Not a great look. Billy showed me the post. I nodded. She finally got consequences. I said. You sure you're okay? I'm better than I've been in 5 years. Billy smiled. And you still haven't touched the garnishment account? Not a penny. Not about the money. And it wasn't. It was about finally being free. The garnishment started 2 weeks after the judgment. $287.50. Every other Friday. Straight from Nicole's paycheck. Spencer set up a separate account just for it. I named it Clarity. We didn't need the money. We hadn't for years. But I needed to see it land. Proof, in black and white, that I wasn't crazy, petty, or cruel. That I'd finally held someone accountable who never thought she'd face consequences. Nicole's life unraveled fast. She had to move out of her apartment. Lost her SUV to repossession. Braden changed schools. Mom and Dad took him in temporarily. I heard she started working evenings at a call center just to cover basics. From Instagram vacations to payday loans in 6 months flat. And still, she sent texts. Long ones. Saying I'd ruined her life. That I'd turned Braden against his own family. That Billy had manipulated me into revenge. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. The court had replied for me. One night, Mom called from the landline. I only picked up because I thought it might be Caleb's school. Your sister's not eating, she said without greeting. She's spiraling. She should call a therapist. She needs help. She needs accountability. Big difference. You've changed, Mom said. I've grown. Try it. She started crying. I stayed silent. After a moment, she hung up. Billy and I made pancakes that weekend, robot-shaped, per Caleb's request. He laughed when one flopped face first on the griddle. "That one's me," he said, trying to code before breakfast. That laugh, that light, that joy, is why I do it all again. Every court filing, every fight, every broken family bond. Because he mattered more. Then, one evening, Caleb asked me something that broke my heart in a different way. "Dad," he said, looking up from a soldering project, "was Aunt Nicole always mean to you too?" I blinked. "What makes you say that? She just didn't seem like she liked you. Or Mom. Or me." I knelt next to him. "She's angry at a lot of things. But none of them are your fault." He nodded slowly. "Okay. I just didn't like when she said I wasn't gifted. I thought maybe I did something wrong." I swallowed hard. "Buddy. You are gifted. Just not in the way she understands. You're kind. Curious. You see people." He smiled. "You too." And just like that, the final piece locked into place. I hadn't destroyed the family. I'd protected the one I built. Mom and Dad? They still try. They send invites to events we decline. Billy says maybe one day we'll have a real talk. Maybe. Nicole's still paying. Court doesn't care if she hates me. Only that the checks clear. And they do. On time. Like clockwork. I never touched the money. But I did something else with it. I created a college fund for Caleb. Named it Second Chances. Because one day, he'll grow up. And when he asks how to deal with people who treat kindness like currency and loyalty like a leash, I'll tell him this. You don't have to set yourself on fire to keep someone else warm. You don't have to lend more than you're willing to lose. And most of all, family doesn't mean free passes. It means showing up. And I did. For my son. For my wife. For myself. The debt is being repaid. In full. But the peace? That was earned. And finally it's mine.